Alrighty. Alright, let's do this. Quick tip, by the way, this isn't super irrelevant or useful on this map, but just use this like left wall to just like get a ramp out of spawn. It'll get you out of spawn a little bit faster. You generally don't want to get too far ahead of everyone, or else like you leave people behind. But you also just want to be towards the front so you can scout a little bit faster, right? So, and this is also really useful for rolling out of spawn just initially. Just use this initial like side of the wall to just ramp out of spawn. Helps a lot. All right, so you go too faster, you've left your Ana behind, right? Oh god, wrong key. So yeah, just keep this in mind. And yeah, this is good for like when you're getting out of spawn fast. But for like getting your team to position, you need to like you're only as fast as your slowest member, so you need to stay with them.
Let's get you healed up. Let's up the tempo. Push on.
Alright, that was good aggression, but you need to play the walls better. And if you probably felt like you're playing the walls, but you actually weren't. So if you watch the sequence, right, once you get to this point, right, you should be climbing this thing, getting up here, right, and then jumping off of this, getting off this pillar, and then like playing like this wall, right, like just like get up here, play this area. You can heal everybody who fights in this area on your team, right, and you can very easily just go for boops just by dropping. You're shooting, you're really safe. I know this can be hard to do, just like while doing everything else that Lucio does, but that's what the goal is, right? Like that's what you should strive for. So if you look, this whole thing you play more or less on the ground with like small wall rides for speed, but in reality you can just like play up here, right? And if you can just shoot down this guy, it's easy headshots, right? You can like just drop for a boop, right? It's super easy, and it's super safe, right? You're not gonna get caught by nades on the ground. Like when this Ana nades herself, you get caught by it, right? When the Junkrat shows up, right, you get hit by it, right? If he traps you, are not gonna fall into a trap, right? It's super, it's just super clean, and it's like very easy to stay out of danger. So here you walk into an Ana nade, right? As opposed to if you're just above shooting, right? You just wouldn't catch it, right? So you look away from this hog really quickly. I'm kind of surprised because it looked like he was about to step forward and get booped. But this is also okay. Focusing targets with your team is always good. The classic Tony monkey. But yeah, like just staying on target with your team is always really good. I like this.
I'm taking my claim on the objective.
Yeah, again, don't be afraid. Remember to use walls to get, like build speed faster. So when you turn around and you realize that you need to get to your sig, just like make sure you catch the nearest wall as to taxi you like into deeper into like the fight. You get to your sig, get your sig into your warriors faster, and boop the hog away and go for the kill, right? So always use this. Oh. All right. You can do it. I believe. The easiest way to wall climb, by the way, in a corner situation, is you just look at the corner and you just wiggle your mouse back and forth, right? So just like make sure you're just flipping sides in between jumps, and you'll just look straight up, and you'll climb generally pretty fast. I'll demonstrate all of this at the end, so stay tuned for that. I'll just watch this round, I guess. This is fine. Careful about playing in the door, right? Like again, because if they miss you, they'll shoot you. So either play on the inside, right? Above the wall, or like outside and play cover, right? Don't play in the doorway itself, right? Like if you want to shoot from cover, you can, right? Or if you want to play inside the room, you use the walls like above them, right? All over the place. You're really hard to. Don't play this part of the wall, but play like whichever side you decide to play on. Like this whole like stretch from the corner on is like basically your friend. Same as the other side. Doesn't really matter. Just pick one of the sides, or play the corner, right? Just like actually use the cover. Oh, I like you. Oh, God. This amp's really bad. So I haven't really talked too much about your amp usage, mostly because you haven't really used it yet. But like amp is a really, really important cooldown. So if you don't need to heal amp, don't heal amp, right? Like so in this case, right, all your team when you came around the corner was like at worst yellow HP, right? So they're at worst like over 100 HP, right? They're not going to die to like random spam from these guys. they'll be fine, right? So just save the amp for when that's my Discord. Sorry about that. Save the amp for when like they're either to speed amp to run the team away, right? Or just like speed aura to run the team away, or heal aura to heal them as you're running away, right? But don't amp here unless one person's like actually critical. And even then, critical if one person's critical, unless they're absolutely going to die without your help or without the heal amp, just trust your other support to handle it for the most part. If there's a lot of criticals, then you heal amp, right? But amp is really important, so try not to amp if we don't have to, right? If you want to amp here, it's the speed to get out, not the heal not the heal amp.
Step Rider.
Check this out, I am on fire! Hold up. What is that melody? Oh, let's break it!
This speed is really bad. I appreciate the effort, but like Tony is like nano primal in their backline, right? Like your whole team's healthy, right? There's this Blade's doing just fine. Like if you just look at your team's health bars, right? Like everybody's full health more or less, except for Tony. But Tony's nano primal, he's fine, right? This beat is just kind of like celebration beat, but it's not over, right? So like yeah, this beat's not very good. So again, you want to save beat either for when one of your teammates is about to die. If you don't beat them, right? If you don't beat what your team is going to die, or they're popping ults and it requires a response, and beat can be a good response to that. The only other time you want to beat is it like engaging. So say like we're just gonna like run into them and then you're gonna beat, right? So just like, but you want to wait on that beat until your team's actually in contact with the enemy team for the most part. But like this is not an engagement beat. Your team's already won the fight, right? This is end of the fight like celebration beat, which is not very good. Deny your teammates if you need help, get them into aura range, right? Like you don't have to like walk around the corner, but do get to this corner so you can like get him in aura range as fast as you can while playing safely, and then just corner peeking and then get him out basically. Yeah, you sort of left him to die. If you played a bit closer, you would get him out, right? You could boop this monkey away potentially. You could like give him speed amp, get him out, right? Or speed heal aura, whatever you need. Like just whatever aura he needs, like you can give it to him if you're closer. But you just left him to die. Vanilla at the end. You should definitely be on speed aura at this point. Your whole team is full health, right? There. So your whole team's full health. You need to give them heal aura, speed aura to get them like to reposition faster. Like healing doesn't do anything for them here. Fighting like this, heal aura is okay. Remember to boost monkey away from the squishies. Your McCree is hard run lane. We're still running back. Alright, so it's time for you to leave. Just remember, like again, like spamming's okay, but you want to do it closer to walls, right? And play the corners, or like all the way over here, right? You want to be over here spamming, right? In this case, your McCree was trying to run into them, so you want to play more of this area, and that way, like if you need to leave, right, you just hook up with the wall and go, right? But you can't do that if you're playing the open spaces. Oh, you think the best. Okay, no. Yeah. Side note, Lucio can actually play these areas above these walls, like these little nooks. You can actually like just like wall right on this and hang out here. They'll never see you coming, and then you can time your boop whenever. It's a lot better on this side, obviously, just because like you can see them, and then you just drop and boop, right? But you can still do the same thing over here. Wait, like as soon as you get over here, like when you ran over here this way, I thought like don't run back around the corner, right? Like you got your team out, right? It's time to start climbing the wall, right? Climb the wall, you get up, right? Get over them, and when they start trying to convert to point, you just boop somebody, right? And it's a freebie. That's how you make it back. Right? This flank is like kind of dead. Like it's okay, but it's not very good. Kills though, right? Not bad. Always focus the Bastion whenever there's a Bastion, right? Like this D.Va doesn't matter, this Bastion does matter, right? So always focus Bastion. Take wall ride, do whatever you need to.
Push on. Oh, let's break it!
Celebration beat, baby. Alright. Watch one more point. I think I went too far. Yeah, I went way too far.
The objective is now active.
To the beat!
Right, that amp's really rough because again, like this guy was going to die whether or not you amped, and he was also out of your range, and now you're like you have no amp. If he dies on you, by the way, immediately swap to speed, so that way your team at least gets some value out of the amp, right? So that way your rank can gap close a little bit faster instead of feeling that you don't need. guys low.
I feel great.
You're just spending a little bit too much time on heal, which isn't too bad of a problem. A lot of Lucios have the opposite, where they spend too much time on speed. But like you got to know when you need to get off heal. Is the most important thing. Well, once again, you should either walk into the bubble to boop this guy out, or just play outside the bubble and like hope this McCree walks out and amp him out, like speed it. If you had amp here, like actually you did use amp, you heal amp to thing, but you should like go speed and just kind of get the McCree out, or just heal amp and like pray. But either way, like this kind of sucks. So once you get to this point, you should go speed. I know this McCree's super low, but you just need to create distance between him and the Also, you're playing too much by yourself here. Like playing the bridge area is fine, but you need to be in the right aura, right? And you need to be looking to drop in case the monkey jumps, right? If the monkey jumps, you need to drop, meet him, and just like boop him back and screw up his jump, right? And then at that point, like you're playing corners, right? Or you're playing like to get back up using the ramp, and like just like the general fact that this is like a slanted like slope is super easy to wall right on. But you don't actually want to play this by yourself. It's not really where you want to be.
Oh, turn it up.
So you saw a critical behind you, and you left. But it's okay. Honest got it. Yeah, don't overpowered as much as they did. This is not your target. You're never going to kill this guy in a million years. I don't care if you're 4700 Lucio. This is not the person. You just need to chill with your team, play high ground areas, try not to get beamed down by the coal. Right? Don't die to the coal. That's actually really scary. It hits cannon like really hard to miss. This good DPS, and just make sure like you help your team out. Right? Like this is just like your aura wise, you're only helping out maybe your Sig at most. This is kind of a stretch. Your Ryan's not getting anything. Your backline's not getting anything. And you're not helping your backline get in position faster, you're not helping the tanks get away or get out of the bubble, right? You're just kind of going on this guy, and this guy's never going to die. So Sick dies.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
So this beat would be okay. If you got it, either gotten it and used it a little bit earlier, which would have been accomplished to be a bit closer to your team, or if you like, and also you needed to like land the beat like right here. So if you get booped, right, like time the beat so you get it like off right here, like here, and then you run around the corner as it's happening, and you'll get the soldier as well. The soldier's not super important, but if he was being died, it would be a pretty big deal, right? But it turns out the enemy team's already like turned back to point, so. This beat's kind of sketchy because your team's down 2, so you have to get at least 2 kills here neutralizing this beat, or it's not dead. And they pop primal here, so. I know that's kind of results-based thinking, but like it just didn't look like a good opportunity to get kills. So unless your team called for you to beat because they felt like they could get kills, it's a pretty bad beat. Yeah, your team's not getting enough kills.
Let's hustle! Back in the mix! Oh, yeah!
I know it's really common to just amp out of spawn, but you kind of don't want to amp out of spawn most of the time. Amp is only for first fight, or if you really have to be back as fast as you can, and your presence is more important than having amp. So I'd recommend trying to learn. I mean, you don't have to, but just like try and like play around with like no amp rollouts. Just jump around, see like how fast you can make it without amp. See how much time you lose. There are certain points that you lose a lot of time without amp, and there's certain points that like you don't lose much at all. I mean, you lose some because amp is always going to make you a lot faster. But like, relatively speaking, you don't lose that much time, right? Like, did it make a difference that you got here like 2 to 3 seconds earlier? Probably not, right? But like, does having amp, arriving here with amp probably be better? Like, probably, right? This isn't such a big difference that that'll matter that much. But in a lot of situations, like having amp is more valuable than being there a little earlier. In very time-sensitive situations, right? Like if you need a touch, or if like your team's like fighting a 2v2 on point, right? Being there is more important, right? But in a lot of situations, having amp is really valuable. So whenever the bubble cuts off you and your team, right? Cuts off your backline from your front line, you need to go speed aura to get people through the bubble as fast as you can. So you can get your Rhine to back up out of the bubble, or to get your team into the bubble, right? But you need to go speed aura as soon as the bubble comes down. So this is a good aggro, but keep in mind there's still a Pharah behind you, and she still has barrage, and your backline is like might be in trouble, right? So obviously like there's not a whole lot you can do personally to kill the Pharah, but you do need to make sure that your team is okay, right? So if your Ana's like 1 health, you need to turn around and check on your Ana's status and see if she's doing okay in this fight, right? and if she's doing okay, then you can go do what you want, right? But if she's like currently being shot by a Pharaoh and is like half health, right? Like you need to get back there pronto and give her some auras, right?
Party on the objective. Move in. Pump up the volume.
Okay, it's not the best, but like if you're not sure where your Ana is, just amp, save yourself. Although generally speaking, you would much rather not use amp for just yourself, right? But in the absence of knowing what to do, just like save yourself. Play safe, don't die. So your positioning is really bad here, and not like bad as in like you're throwing, but like you really need to just park yourself next to your Ana, right? Initially, until you can figure out what's going on. Because if this monkey had gone around the corner and jumped at your Ana would be ultra sad, right? There'd be a McCree just trying to chase the monkey into his bubble. The monkey just leaves his bubble as the Ana dies, right? And that's just like no bueno. You don't want to start the fight like that. You just start yourself next to the Ana, right? And then as the fight develops and the monkey jumps somewhere, right? Then you can do what you want, right? But until that happens, you need to like just protect your Ana first and foremost, and then after that you can make plays. Depending on the map. Some maps you can just hold the choke, but this is not one of them. Especially if you die. Your Ana's not pressured, so thinking this is okay. But if your Ana was pressured, this would be like really bad position. You don't actually punish okay, yeah. Also, again, like play corners, right, or play above, right. You never want to play just the open area. I know you were trying to, but like play like somewhere like closer, right. But the problem is like you took this wall, and this wall puts you squarely in front of the enemy team, right. So again, like play corners, right, play behind the wall, or play above / close, right. So ideally, you would just like if you wanted to cross, right, instead of crossing in front of them, right, you would just go on the inside of point, right, and just like jump off this wall, catch another wall, jump off this wall, catch another jump off this. And then boom, you're next to your Ana and you're right where you want to be, right?
Let's up the tempo.
This is a situation where amping to get out of spawn is fine, you just need to get there as fast as you can, right? Because they're just really far away. Oh. Push a lot of headshots. Getting lost, you died, it's fine.
Move to the beat.
So this is where you could be on heal aura, right? You just sit in this room and like your Ryan's not really moving, so you just heal you and your Ryan. And then when you see your Ryan leave, like you fire this last burst, you turn, you see Ryan rotating, then you go back to the speed aura and you back out a bit, regroup with your team and get moving again. And then when you see these people low in front of you, just come out of the room, turn on heal aura for just half a second. Ooh, this amp's really bad. So if you look at what your Ana's going to see, right? Your Ana's going to see this McCree, and he's going to heal him, right? Like, you don't need to amp for this guy, and not having amp is kind of a big deal, especially getting out of a choke into a Junkrat, right? Like, if your team wants to get out of this choke without taking a lot of damage, you need the speed amp for them, right? So just be really careful with this. Yeah. Someone still dies, which is really important. Like, do you see how fast like Ana heals people, like single target, right? Like your Ryan was like 100 HP, he backed up, got a nade, and now you just looked at him, it was green health, right? So yeah, just like Lucio healing output on amp is really poor unless everybody is using the amp, right? So like be careful about using amp if it's not going to 100% save somebody, if it's for one person, right? Like heal amp is like 50 healing per second or something like that, thereabouts. And a mercy beam is 55, right? Like a mercy beam, right? And then Ana outputs with nade like something close to like 100. I think probably actually over 100 healing per second. It's really high. Yeah. So it's just kind of not worth blowing a 15-second cooldown. 12-second cooldown, 3-second duration. So 15-second like overall cooldown for like one person, right? Also keep in mind you already beat, so this spam isn't really giving you much, and just charging this support all effect. So it's not very valuable. Alright, your team's in. This beat is a little early, again, because your team's not actually in yet. And like you'd much rather speed amp first, get your team in, and then beat, right? That's fine. Like when you have beat, I mean you kind of messed up the beat by beating inside the bubble. But when you are beating, it's okay to go aggressive because your team will be fine, right? Your team in theory all has sound barrier, right? So it doesn't matter even if they get pressured, they'll have 750 extra health. They'll be totally fine. I give you you have full license to go aggressive during that time. Just keep in mind that you need to come back at some point. You see your Ana. You see this. Your priority is not dying right now. All right. Now you go find your Ana. Your Ana's fine. And now you can go check.
Here, let's pick it up. Healing boost.
So you identify where your Ana is. She's playing high ground, so this means you should probably play up there with her.
Bad guys. It's
Raising the volume.
Again, don't amp for this guy. Your Ana's got it. Okay, you play up here. Really good. All right. You see that they're on Rhine now. Now you just need to watch the Winston. The Winston was about to jump but got lifted by your Sig, so now you have license to go aggressive, right? But that's how you need to think, right? Like what can actually turn my Ana? In this case, it's the monkey, right? So you just chill here, right? And you wait till the monkey jumps. And as the monkey jumps, then you do what you want, right? You boop him back, and then you go aggressive, right? In this case, he got lifted, so you have full license to go aggressive. Also, amp here would be really nice. Just saying. Please don't amp this. No. Okay, so again, like you just took a little bit of damage. Your Ryan is missing some health, but he's getting kicked away from you, right? So like this amp is just kind of really poor. It doesn't really do much. Also, if you like, remember like to swap auras to like and use walls to get close, right? So in this case, right, you get separated. It's fine, it happens. Right? It's gonna kick you out even further, kick your Ryan in the opposite direction, right? So at this point, you're going to heal yourself in just about half a second with the speed or the heal amp. So you need to switch to speed, bounce off this wall on your left, go on your right, and then you're back with your Ryan. You can help them out again, right? But like you just kind of walk the slow way, right? You don't even use a wall. You use the remainder of your heal amp. You didn't swap to speed. By the time you actually use a wall, your Ryan's already charging back and the monkey's already dead, right? So if you want to help faster, you just need to use speed and bounce between walls, right? And that'll get you there in fast. Alright, so if you hear tire, it's time to go speed and start running, right? And get everybody else to start running as well. You don't want to die tired. Neither do you.
You hear that?
Nice. Going to Lucio. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate some of the stuff I was talking about. Training range, I guess. Oh wait, no, what am I doing? Not training range. Game browser, create maps, Nepal. General cooldowns off. Modes. Manual. That's all I need. Control. Let's find out which one Sanctum is. My guess is 2.
Traveling to Nepal.
I got Shrine. Dang it.
It's a perfect day
So
for some
we'll
mayhem.
try again. Third.
Traveling to Nepal.
Nice. Alright.
Let's up the tempo. Oh yeah!
Alright, so we talked about this spot, right? So if you want to get aggressive, right? Just immediately start getting vertical, right? It's obviously not easy to do this. Oh my god, I'm not even that good at it anymore. Oh my god, I'm so rusty. But like once you're vertical, you can just make plays, right? And you can play up here, like the stratosphere. And then as soon as they like try to like come in, right?
Nothing's gonna stop.
You just drop and boom, right? Oh, I messed up. But yeah, it's super easy. Once you get the hang of it. And so same idea, we're pushing aggressive, right? So we're going. Oh god, I screwed up. So we're getting aggressive here, right? So I come up here,
I am loving this.
right? So now I'm in position, right? I can go for boot there, or I can just try to get vertical on this side, right? I'm shooting. My team's here. My team's all with me right here. We're getting aggressive now. And so I just jump, boom, boom. I'm in position to shoot, right? And I can do whatever I want, right? And now this way, like what I can do is I can just drop a little bit. I can boot them either off the map or back into my team, right? Just by dropping a little bit. And then like I use my wall climb to like get more vertical again, and I'm back to safety, right? So I can speed my team to go aggressive, right? So if we're chasing somebody, right?
Raising the volume.
Go to the back, right? And I'm still safe, right? So obviously this isn't super easy to do. This takes a little bit of time to practice. But once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard, right? I'm getting better at it, and like I've spent like 15 seconds here. Not 50 seconds, like a minute, less than a minute. Anyways, if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. To sum up, use walls more, especially to get when you need to go from place to place, because a lot of times you wish you could be closer to a teammate or further away from an enemy. So you use walls for that purpose. Make sure you're on the right aura. Be careful about heal amping one person. It's generally not worth it. And don't leave teammates behind. If you have any questions or comments, concerns about anything, please let me know. And to make sure that you watch this call, DM me what, when you get to this point, DM me what 7 plus 3 equals. Alright, yeah, I'll cut it here.